The advice I'm about to give you in this video is controversial as fuck, but this is the fastest way possible, at least to my knowledge. I know how to build abs, right? Literally 90 days is all it takes to build like a good set of aesthetic abs, right? So I'll put up my 3 months transformation from when I first ever started, right? And you see that in the picture, I started off skinny as fuck, underweight, malnourished, whatever. And then after 3 months, I had like a good set of nice aesthetic abs, right? So that's my 3 months transformation from when I first ever started going to the gym, right? And then after that point, later I did a huge bulk, right? So I did a bulk for like 8 months and I put on lots of body fat, right? So I put on lots of body fat and I did a cut, right? Trying to get like the nice aesthetic abs back, right? So I'll put up the 3 months transformation of like my cut and getting the abs back, right? Day one of the cut. Day 10 of cutting. This is day 20 of the cut. This is day 30 of the cut. Day 40 of the cut. Day 50 of the cut. Day 60 of the cut. This is the physique after 60 days of cutting. Day 70 of the cut. This is the current physique after 70 days of cutting. Day 80 of the cut. This is day 80 of the cut, and this is the physique after 80 days of cutting. So after seeing both of these transformations, right, you've seen like it's taken me 3 months in both of the transformations to get like a nice set of aesthetic abs. So whether you're starting off skinny as fuck like me when I started, or you're starting off like you're starting off fat, basically, you're just fat and you wanna shred down and get like nice aesthetic abs, I think the advice I'm about to give you will be super, super helpful, right? The first one, and again, it's going to be controversial as fuck, is the training, right? When I first ever started, like in the first 3 months, right, the reason I built up like the abs and the definition and thickness in the abs so quickly was simply because I did a fuck ton of volume, right? And this is not going to be scientific at all. It's not going to be science-based training. It literally, the only place you hear this type of advice is here, because this is literally what got me the results, right? And I don't even know if it's like scientifically backed or if like it makes, I don't know, right? This is what I did. I went to the gym and I trained abs like 3 days a week. So I trained abs 3 days a week and I did a fuck ton of volume, right? I literally trained abs for like an hour, 30 minutes. I did like 4 to 5 exercises and I did like 5 sets for every exercise, right? Which is a fuck ton when it comes to like training any muscle group, right? Literally, I would do like one exercise, right? Like let's say for example leg raises. I'll do leg raises for the lower abs. I'll do those leg raises. I'll do 5 sets of leg raises, 5 or even sometimes 6 sets of leg raises, right? And then I'll do like 15-20 reps or just go to failure for every set, right? So imagine this. I'm literally doing like 5 sets of leg raises till failure, or I'm doing like 5 sets of leg raises till like 15-20 reps, right? So by the end of like the 5 sets, I've done like a fuck ton of reps, right? And I've just done like lots of volume. Then I move on to another exercise. Like maybe I do like obliques, right? I'll do like like rotisserie twists or some shit, right? On a machine. Do like another 5 sets of those, right? Move on to an exercise. Do another like 5 sets, right? So all in all, I would do literally like 5 exercises, 5 sets each. By the time I'm done, it's like an hour 30 has passed and my abs are absolutely finished. Like absolutely finished. Like there's nothing more I could have given, right? And this is just because like when I started, in my head, the idea of like an aesthetic physique was just like a nice set of abs, and all I wanted to do was really just like post shirtless pictures showing like the nice abs, right? So like all my intensity in training was just going to the abs, right? So this was the first thing that I did. I did like a fuck ton of volume for the abs 3 times a week. I did intensive ab training, right? And this might not be backed by science, because the science might say train abs like you train every other muscle, right? You'd imagine if you're training chest, for chest, you'd probably only need like 3 exercises and then you'd just go like 3 sets to failure, whatever, right, for each exercise. And you'd go like 8 to 12 reps, whatever. But like here, I was doing more like 15, 20 reps per set, right? A fuck ton of volume, right? Might not be scientific. This is how I got the abs, right? If like literally, this is how I got them. So I'm just telling you what I did, right? If you want to disagree, fair enough. Like it might not be scientific, whatever, but this is what worked for me to get the abs, right? So I maximized on volume and I made sure like I was literally doing more than enough volume for the abs. So like my abs developed really, really quickly, right? So that was like the training, right? Now I want to move on to the diet, but like the diet that I would actually want to tell you about is the one that I did when I was now on the cut, on the 3 months cut, because that's actually a better diet than I did on when I first ever started. So when I was skinny, I did like a lean bulk and I did a carnivore diet. But the carnivore diet is not the best for when you're trying to build up like muscle mass and recovery and whatever. The diet that I did on the cut is actually the better diet. So I'll tell you about this diet that I did on my cut. On my cut, I was on what's called the carb maxing diet, right? Where you basically just maximize carb intake and you minimize protein. So like you take the minimum requirement of protein, right? So like that's like 120, like 140 grams of protein. For me, I'm like 180 something pounds, right? So like 120, 140 grams of protein is enough. Basically, like the amount of protein you get from your regular meals, just like breakfast, lunch, supper, that's enough, right? And I obviously have like supplements to make sure that I'm hitting the protein, right? So, but I took the minimum amount of protein and I just maximized on the carbs, right? So I was literally having like a fuck ton of carbs before the gym, after the gym, like all around the clock. I was just having lots of carbs, right? And this diet is so good because not only like does it maximize your recovery, because if you're training your abs like really hard, you want to maximize recovery. That way you can keep training them harder each and every time, right? So the carb maxing diet maximizes on your recovery and also maximizes muscle growth. So now you'll be able to like build up the abs, get them thicker and blockier, whatever, whilst also just maximizing the recovery. Now, the most important thing, and you've probably guessed this already, the most important thing about abs is how lean you are, right? So I want to show you like a picture. You've already seen like after my 3 months, I was like pretty lean. Like you can see good definition in the abs, right? After the 3 months of training, like you just need to be like, how do I explain this? 15% body fat. You start to see like lines and like some sort of definition in your abs, right? So if you're seeing like some sort of definition, you kind of see like the first 2 abs, the top 2 abs, set of abs, that's around 15% body fat. 12% body fat, or like more like 11% body fat, you've got like a nice 4-pack, right? And you can see like the lines for the 6-pack, right? And then 10% body fat and under, you can see like just clear definition in the abs. So I'll show you what I look like at 9% body fat and 9.1% body fat, and you can basically just use this to give an estimate of like where you are, or like to just show you the like leanness you'd need to be for you to have a good set of abs, right? So I'll put up the picture of when I was like 9.1% body fat. You see that in the picture, I had like clear definition in the abs. Also, like my abs, like the skin was so tight around like the abs that it actually looked like my abs were coming outwards, right? So it looks like ridges, like literally like humps, ridges, right? That's what my abs looks like. And that was like a 9.1% body fat, right? So anywhere in the neighborhood of like 10% body fat, that's where you want to be to really just have a good set of abs. And I'll put up a picture of when I assume I was like 11% body fat, give or take, around this time, where you can see like I've got good definition in the abs. I'm pretty lean, like everything is like nice around the abs. And at that point, I think I was like at 11% body fat, right? Not necessarily like as lean as I was when I was 9%, but close to that, right? So this is the most important thing. Like, just if you're coming from being fat, right, you just need to lose the body fat, and also train the abs, right? Train the abs with lots of volume to just make sure you're hitting enough volume and getting enough muscle growth. This is how you'd build up the abs as fast as possible in 90 days, right? So you see on my cut, I just shredded down and lost like lots and lots of body fat. But during the cut, I trained abs in like the way the scientific lifters tell you to train. I trained abs doing like 10 reps, 12 reps. So my abs did get development, but not as much development as I did in the first 3 months. I think like if you just want to take training, like my advice on training, train the same way I trained when I first started training abs ever. Train with just a fuck ton of volume. I don't give a fuck like what the science says. This is what worked for me from month 1 literally to month 3. I trained a fuck ton of volume with the abs. I trained them like 3 times a week, and I trained them with lots of volume. You might not do as much volume as I did necessarily, but just do like at least 20 sets a week, right? 20 sets of ab training a week, right? That means you could split them up into like 2 days, or you could split them up into like 3 days, but do 20 sets of ab training, right? So that would look like let's say you do like sets of leg raises, because those are important for your lower abs, and then you do like some crunches for your upper 2 abs, and then you just make sure that if you're doing it in like 2 days, you make sure you have like 10 sets here and then 10 sets there. So like 5 sets of leg raises and 5 sets of crunches. That's one day. 5 sets of leg raises, 5 sets of crunches. That's the other day, right? You do that twice. If you do it over 3 days, you just split it up and just make sure you're getting at least 20 sets of abs. That's your training, right? And your diet, you need to be in a deficit. You already know this. You need to be eating less calories than your maintenance, right? So eat less food, less calories, fill out your protein with like supplements. Those are helpful in terms of filling out your protein. Buy protein powder, that way you just fill out your protein, and then maximize more on carbs and fill out the rest of your calories with just carbs, right? To maximize your recovery and your muscle growth. That's your diet. And then obviously if you need to do like cardio and all these things to get like to shed down the fat, just go do that. Go do cardio. Do it for like 3 months. This is how you'd build the abs in 3 months as fast as possible, at least to my knowledge. And I've shown you both transformations, so at least that should give you like some motivation that it can be done really quickly. Like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel.